Gavin Newsom clearly wants to be president, so naturally he did what anyone who wants to be the 2028 Democratic nominee would do, and that is have Ben Shapiro on his podcast. Yes, that Ben Shapiro, the one that loses like 30,000 subscribers a day, the one whose own side of the political spectrum doesn't even like him anymore or respect his opinions, the one who gets ratioed constantly by smaller, censored creators, that Ben Shapiro. And you know how they spent the time? They spent the time talking about things that are going to be very popular with his Democratic base. That would be saying Gaza's not a genocide, denouncing his own social media team and their posts, taking back that ICE are terrorists, which, you know, most people like in the middle wouldn't go that far. You know, they're government employees. This shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. You can probably find me talking about it. I've been talking about how Gavin Newsom was going to do this exact circuit. He was going to start trying to lean more moderate, despite obviously not being so in California. And this was kind of going to be a strategy. To become president, he would need to be a lot more moderate and get the votes from the other 49 states that don't like him. And that's the thing. People shouldn't be falling for this. He's the governor of California. He's had a very long career here. He has done a lot wrong, and he lies a lot, and anyone who's going to fall for this is just silly because this obviously isn't who he is. Now, fortunately, people aren't buying it. It does seem like a lot of people are only just now catching on. Like, there's a lot of shocked comments. This just isn't surprising to me at all. Like I was saying, I expected him to go this exact route. He's going to try to go on all the talk shows. He's going to try to kind of do what Trump did when he got the independent base and like the libertarian base and like appealed to everyone on Rogan. That's kind of what Newsom's going to do. You know, we had Charlie Kirk on a few months ago. His base didn't really like that. Now he has Ben Shapiro on, which is even worse. It's just funny because this is like the exact mistakes Kamala Harris made. You know, she just kept seeing phony. She wanted to take her stance on the Gaza conflict, which is extra odd because it was like really big on social media. Like, they're not even lying about it is the wild thing. In the last interview with Charlie Kirk, Gavin Newsom was like shocked about AIPAC. He's like, I haven't heard about that in years, but you know, you can't miss it. It's like, there's people who are growing in popularity just because they refuse to take AIPAC money. Like, you can't miss this. He can't miss this. It was popular in his base. People were chasing Kamala Harris and AOC down hallways, telling them to denounce everything going on in Gaza. Like, they can't miss this. They surely know. But they're just doing it again. Like, they know this doesn't work, and they're still doing it again. And that's so weird to me. And maybe that's another reason why he has to go more moderate. Maybe if he can get this facade going, he can get more votes from both sides of the aisle that are maybe more okay with him being Zionist. But this is just the opposite of what this country wants and needs for the most part. And we can't let him do this. We can't let him get away with this. He can't just pretend everyone's stupid and has selective amnesia. But I'm just a little surprised that it does seem like a lot of people are catching on. This went super viral all over like the more liberal and democratic sides of Twitter or X. Everyone was calling this out, but some of the comments were like surprised. They're like, why in the world is he doing this? I'm not shocked. Most people aren't shocked. Most people that know Gavin Newsom's track record aren't shocked. This is exactly who he is. He's a coward and he's a liar, and he'll say whatever he needs to do whatever he needs to say and do whatever he needs to do to be president. And he wants that like Mariam Adelson money. He wants that $310 million. You know, he wants to be that candidate. He knows he probably can pick it up. You know, if J.D. Vance isn't going to win, the Zionist side might flip sides again. You know, it's the only consistent issue. It's the only thing Kamala and Trump agreed with in their own debate. You know, they're all fighting over who hates Israel. They're pointing fingers at each other. Neither of them are taking the side of being against what they're doing in Gaza. Both of them were just accusing each other of hating Israel more. Which kind of tells you everything you need to know, right? Because it's the one thing they can agree on. That's suspicious. That's weird. But let's hear from Gavin Newsom himself. Here's what he had to say while talking to Ben Shapiro.
Israel did not commit a genocide in Gaza. There is no standard by which Israel committed a genocide in Gaza, just on a factual level.
Just as a legal and factual level.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your opinion of this?
My opinion is, I understand the tendency for people to assert that.
Why?
On the basis of the images and the proportionality.
Ugly shit doesn't mean genocide.
No. And by the way, I agree with you.
And international and proportionality doesn't mean that if you kill my child and I then kill 7 criminals, that I've been disproportionate.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think I understand that tendency on the basis of trying to reconcile the proportionate nature of how the war was ultimately conducted and the devastation.
I have a question. Why do you feel the need to create a permission structure for that sort of stuff? I mean, meaning it's not true. Yeah. Why not just say it's not true?
Yeah, I don't know the definition, or I don't know the legal threshold. That's not my opinion, so I don't share that opinion as it relates to genocide. I do not agree with that notion. And I'm also crystal clear in my love for Israel and my condemnation of Bibi. And there's a distinction. I condemn Donald Trump. I love my country.
See, he just can't take a side, despite knowing what most people on both aisles want these days. I mean, it's very unpopular, especially with the youth. And the Democratic side, like, super relies on the youth, too. I mean, the youth is what, like, the podcast circuit, connecting with the youth, and Donald Trump being able to, like, kind of get more votes from the youth than he did the other two times is exactly why he won. So it's a really ineffective strategy here. According to polls, like 90% of the youth are anti-Zionist. So you're basically losing like 90% of your potential votes, even on your side, by taking this stance. I mean, like I was saying, a lot of people on both sides don't like Ben Shapiro. He's not very popular right now, and that's weird to agree with him on your own podcast. I think everyone's sick of the president seeming like they're the ones kissing up to influencers and people on talk shows and Ben Shapiro and these people with money, the funders, the businesses. It's like you're supposed to be running for the president of the United States. You shouldn't be kissing up. It means that once you're in, you're just owned by those people. Everyone is sick of this. Everyone. Nobody likes this. I mean, the only people who like it are the people benefiting from it and the people probably giving out the money that then funds things that go against the rest of the people. So that's just ridiculous. And that's the thing. People need to not vote for him then. Like, his own party needs to figure this out. I saw a tweet and it's very accurate. It said, if Gavin Newsom wins, there will not be another Democratic president for 30 years. And that's 100% true. I have a lot of liberal friends that basically called, like, Joe Biden a Republican. I mean, Gavin Newsom would just make that look so much worse. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what the strategy is here. I don't know how someone else didn't think about it. I don't know how they're at least not lying. It also kind of tells you everything you know, right? They can't even pretend on this one issue around Ben Shapiro. He can't even pretend. He has to agree with him. What do you guys think? I think it was a horrible decision. I think he just is going to lose most of his base, and he deserves it, and he should. I don't know how more Democrat and liberals even like him, like other than like vote blue no matter who logic. Some of them do trick themselves to like him, though. If you ask any of them, they like stutter and have a panic attack. If you ask, why do you like him? But this is just making it harder to do that, right? It's getting harder to kind of be oblivious and just like him based off of really small things that don't matter, like some tweet he sent out or some ownage he did on the news or something. Like, once he starts talking about these serious issues out loud, they can't play pretend anymore. But what do you guys think? I'm sure most people are going to agree that this seemed like a bad strategy. I don't even know where they're going with this. It's like, at this point, I just think they're all just high on their own supply and they don't even understand how bad this looks. Or he doesn't even care how bad it looks. He just wants that Zionist money and he just wants that Miriam Adelson money. Gavin Newsom just like folds after everything Ben Shapiro says. He's just like, no, but ICE aren't terrorists, right? And he's like, well, yeah, no. And yeah, most people aren't going to agree with that, especially like the normie base, like if he's going for like the independent vote or like the non-voters or something. A lot of people might think that's extreme, but the Democratic Party more than anyone like really relies on their like die-hard base, like the die-hard base that just doesn't mess around with ICE or any of this. To beat like J.D. Vance in like 2028, you're going to want to do the opposite of the unpopular stuff the administration is currently doing. This applies to even both sides. A good Democratic candidate, if you go against the unpopular things that Trump did, might even get the independents or the third parties or even some Republican votes. Because this is going to be J.D. Vance's weakness in 2028. He's not going to be able to like insult Trump or any of his ideas or decisions because he's going to want his endorsement. He's going to want to like carry the torch of like the MAGA name and brand. So he's not going to be able to oppose these things, but it's what everyone's going to bring up. Everyone's going to go, what about Epstein? What about Israel? What about Palantir? What about AI? What about everything you said you were going to do last time and you and Trump didn't end up doing? And he's probably going to take a really like safe stance and be like, yeah, Trump tried his best. Maybe I can do something better, but he's never going to insult it. And these are such a lot of these things are so unpopular, you almost need to go hard on it if you're going to get the base back. But he's not going to be able to. So long story short, like, Gavin Newsom should be leaning into this. Anyone running against J.D. Vance should, because it's the one thing J.D. Vance can't do. He can't go against these unpopular ideas, which makes it even more weird that he's not going against it. It almost seems like he's priming himself to take Trump's place instead of oppose him, if that makes sense. It's like he wants Trump's donors that helped him win last minute to jump to his side. Like, he's not doing this for the people. He's not doing this for the right reasons. Another funny point is that, like, Trump and J.D. Vance have had so much heat lately that you even had people on the right, even the far right, even like the Groypers, all starting to like champion Gavin Newsom. They're like, he's so based or whatever, which is so funny because then he has Ben Shapiro on his show and does the opposite. He starts talking like a neocon. Like he's not even trying to get like the youth back, like the youth that went more right during the last election cycle. He's not even trying to get that back. He's not having like cooler figures on the right that appeal to like the right on. He is having Ben Shapiro on, the person who was more influential when the right was not popular with the youth. So it just makes no sense altogether. Because now you're even gonna lose those people. You're even gonna lose the younger people on the right that were like, kind of maybe even jokingly getting behind Gavin Newsom for the wrong reasons. But now he's gonna lose them too. He's like having Zionist talks and having Ben Shapiro on his show. I just don't see the strategy here. The only thing I can think of is for the funding. This was not for the people. This wasn't for his own party. This wasn't for the other party. This is like he's staring into the camera and he's staring into like the same people who fund Ben Shapiro and his audience or in his show. And he's just staring into the camera and going, hey, you can support me in 2028. It doesn't have to be J.D. Vance. You can back me instead. I feel like that's what he's doing. But let me know what you guys think. Let's talk about it.